Alright, hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Third video, hard to believe, it's been 3 videos. Once again, I'm in ranked battles right now, Pokemon Sword, Season 8, trying my best, use Pokemon I love. Once again, I'll be using this All-Stars 1 team. As I mentioned in previous videos, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. It is a kind of a mix of Pokemon I consider to be quote-unquote good, but also mostly Pokemon I just really like using. Latias and Scizor are my favorite Pokemon, and I will use them as often as I can. I feel like I've finally developed a team that properly takes advantage of their synergy. So let's dive right in. I'll try at least one battle with this team and see what happens. Things have been going well so far. I've got 9 wins out of 12, and it's all of them with the exact same team. So I'm really hoping that this will work out just as well as all the previous battles have. Of course, I'm aware that this team is not perfect. It has flaws. One of the flaws is I am relatively weak to Fire-type moves, but that's why I brought along Rotom. It used to be a Salamence, but I actually had a lot of trouble using Salamence, even though Salamence is one of my favorite Pokemon as well. I tended to have a lot of trouble. It tended to have a lot of trouble staying in the match. It tended to get knocked out really quickly. Oh, this is fantastic. This looks like Red's team. No wonder, their trainer name is Red. Well, part of it is anyway. Alright. Considering they're using Pikachu, there's a lot of things that I can implicate. They might be using Gigantamax Pikachu, but I kind of doubt that. I almost feel like that may be a waste of a Dynamax slot. Actually, considering Dragonite is there, that might be their Dynamax user, because of multi-scale. I am a little nervous about, This is definitely an interesting one. I don't know for sure what I should start with. Once again, Fire type, so Scizor is not a very viable option. I get so nervous about that. I'm aware, of course, that there is a chance I don't actually take Charizard with them. Although, for all I know, that might be their actual Dynamax, and I want to avoid that as best I can. I'm going to go ahead and start out with the main strategy I've been talking about. Looks like I'll be using Rotom in my 3rd slot. As for my 4th, I guess it'll be Scizor. I'm aware that outside of Charizard, I can hit all these Pokemon for at least neutral damage, and they cannot do anything against me unless Dragonite's packing a fire move, but I honestly really doubt that. I don't have any Ice-type moves. I do actually have another Latias that I've designed differently, and she knows Ice Beam. But I felt like Fire and Water-type moves covered more of my options, so that is why I chose that. Yeah, it's quite literally red. That's pretty awesome, actually. I love that. They even dress like the original game. Fantastic. Okay, let's see what happens. Alright, they're starting with Charizard and Venusaur. Not what I was expecting. I really thought that Dragonite was going to be their Dynamax lead. Although I guess it is... I should not always assume that... Alright guys, I'm going to use... I'm going to go ahead and Dynamax Latias and use Max Geyser on Charizard. And then I'm going to use Brutal Swing, this is exactly what I've been trying to do. Hopefully this will work out rather well. I'll be able to show you guys the strategy in action. I'm aware that not every single other trainer uses Hyper Offense, although that tends to be what I lose against the most. So I've been trying to come up with my own Hyper Offense team to counteract, and this is exactly what my Hyper Offense team entails. Be able to set up a lot of power, a lot of stat buffs, and a lot of strength from the very first turn. Obviously, of course, if you fail in setting up that momentum, then you basically lose. But I'm hoping that this will work out pretty well for us. Alright, it is indeed G-Max Charizard, but I think we're going to be okay here. I don't really know what that Charizard's EVs are going to be, but I do know that Latias is going to be able to hit first, and that's all that I want. Alright, so Zacian uses Brutal Swing. It takes about a quarter off Latias, which is a lot, I'm aware, but it also activates her weakness policy. And since it already did a little bit of damage to Charizard, that also helps us too. So now that I have that +2, I'm going to use Max Geyser on Charizard and hope for a kill, honestly. Fantastic. Oh yes, that's exactly what I was hoping for. Fantastic. That was really good. Okay, that was also a crit. I don't know if it would have killed without the crit, but I'm really grateful for that. Looks like we're off to a really good start here. Now they've lost their G-Max, and we still have 2 turns left. I don't believe Venusaur is going to be able to do very much. Never mind. Wow, that was horribly timed. Okay, so Latias is asleep. That might be a bit of a problem, but I think we'll be okay. Because we still have Zacian, who can do a lot of damage on its own. Thankfully as well, they're out of Dynamax, and since I have Water up, and there's no more Fire type, Scizor is going to be able to run over these guys. So that's really good for us. I'm going to go ahead and use Play Rough on Dragonite. That seems like the best option here. I'm assuming it has Multiscale, but since Latias is asleep, I don't think there's anything else I could do right now. I don't want to use Brutal Swing again. I never use Brutal Swing after I've used it against Latias. Like, there's no reason to do it again. Weakness Policy only activates one time. Oh, Latias is kind of cute when she sleeps like that. Ah, man, I'm such a fan of Latias. I've loved her ever since I saw her in the movie. I draw her a lot, I feel. Let's see what happens. Alright, that was pretty good damage. I don't know if they have multiscale or not, but that was pretty good damage. Alright, they missed their second Sleep Powder. They used Ice Punch, which is not good for us. Latias is not very bulky defensively, but that's okay. I'm not gonna miss my second attack. But to just make sure, I'll go ahead and use Behemoth Blade so that I have that 100% accuracy. I really hate that Play Rough has 95% because that means, of course, it has a small chance of missing, and that is just no good for anybody. So I'll go ahead and use Behemoth Blade to ensure that it knocks out Dragonite. There's no way it's going to be able to lift that. It looks like Venusaur is just using Sleep Powder, which obviously is really annoying, but it doesn't look like it's doing very much else. So I think we'll be doing just fine. Looks like it missed again. Okay, that's honestly pretty bad luck. I do feel a little bit bad for that. I try to experiment with Sleep Powder as well, but it is unfortunate. It doesn't have a very good chance of hitting. Alright, my Dynamax is out, and I realize now that with the rain up, Blastoise is at an advantage. However, Latias may be waking up pretty soon, and I still can hit these guys pretty hard. I'm going to go ahead and use my Fairy Stab. Since Venusaur's not really doing anything, and since Blastoise gets a boost in the rain, I definitely want to take out Blastoise as soon as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and, actually, I'm going to back up. I'm going to use Draco Meteor on Blastoise, assuming, of course, Latias wakes up, and then I'm going to use Play Rough on Blastoise as well. I don't know if Latias is going to wake up, but that's okay. She's done a really good job. We've really got all... Okay, awesome. She woke up. Oh, fantastic. She gets to use Draco Meteor, one of my favorite moves. It's very cool looking, honestly. Okay, fantastic. Blastoise is knocked out before it does anything. Very, very good round for us. Looks like we're going to be able to win this pretty easily. Okay, this poor Venusaur has missed 3 times in a row. I do feel very bad for it. It's not supposed to miss that often, seriously. Luckily, because of weakness policy, our Draco Meteor basically reset our stats to normal. So we could use it again if we really wanted to, but we don't need to. Alright, there's a forfeit for us. That was a very, very good round for us. Once again, I'm not sure if that crit actually was the reason Charizard was one-shotted, but I'm very grateful for that match. That went really well for us. Finally, I was able to show you guys the hyper offense I was talking about. I guess we could look at the enemy's battle team, just to see what their investment was. Okay, so that Charizard had an Assault Vest, so I think it is safe to assume that Pokemon did have, that crit probably was the reason it was one-shotted. So I guess we did have a lot of good RNG that match, honestly. I did feel bad that Venusaur missed so many times. However, that was still a very good match for us. Even without the luck, that was a good match for us. I guess I will briefly show you guys the team I'm talking about. And I'm aware that I'm only in, well, now I'm in rank 6. I don't usually battle on ranked. This is one of the first seasons where I've gotten more into it because for a while I've had a hard time coming with synergy. Once again, one of my biggest weaknesses is hyper offense. When I say hyper offense, I mean I'm typically very weak against teams that start with momentum at the very beginning of the match. So I decided to develop my own, and I'm very grateful that I can have Latias at the forefront of this hyper offense team. Fantastic. I got some more BP as well. I've been trying to make other teams. Like, this is another team that I've constructed, but I haven't actually used it yet. I'm not actually using the same Latias. The Latias I'm using here is one that I caught from the Max Raid Adventure. But I've not actually used this before. I'd like to try it at some point, but I'm not very sure about it yet. I don't want to use it on ranked until I'm more confident with it. I'll probably try it a few times in the battle tower first. Still, considering we're already at the 10-minute mark, I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much for tuning in and seeing how amazing Latias can be. Hoping to see you guys in my next videos. If I make them, of course I will. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you.